You ever have one of those days where everything feels off? Like, from the moment you wake up, the universe is warning you something bad is about to happen? Yeah, that was my Tuesday. I'm Marcus Hale, and all I wanted after a brutal 10-hour shift on the construction site was to crack open a beer and collapse in my recliner. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated, just peace and quiet after a long day. But before I could even take my boots off, there it was, the kind of knock at the front door that stops your heart. Not a neighbor, not a delivery. 2 cops, standing on my porch. One was already flipping open his notepad. "Marcus Hale?" the older one asked. I nodded, confused. He said, "We got a tip about illegal substances on the premises. We'd like to take a look around." My blood ran cold. I don't do drugs. Never have. But there was only one reason the cops would show up asking about that. My wife's sister, Bianca. Bianca's been living with us for months. She's trouble, brings around shady friends, always out late, always a new story about why she needs help. My wife, Callie, and her mother, Darlene, they treat Bianca like a misunderstood angel. Me? I've seen the other side. The manipulator, the liar. But even knowing all that, I wasn't ready for what happened next. "Sure, officers," I said, stepping aside, "but there's gotta be some mistake." Callie walked in from the kitchen, too calm, smiling. "His room's down the hall," she said, not even looking at me. "Second door on the right." I just stood there. My room. Why would my wife point the cops to my room? Before I could ask, the cops were already heading down the hall like they knew exactly where to go, and that's when my world flipped upside down. They opened my dresser. Right there, sitting between my old shirts and winter socks, was a Ziploc bag stuffed with pills. Blue, white capsules. Enough to ruin anybody's life. I froze. "That's not mine," I said, my voice shaky. "I've never seen that before." But nobody cared. Callie wouldn't meet my eyes. Darlene, my mother-in-law, just stood in the doorway, arms crossed, looking satisfied. And Bianca? She was on the stairs, watching it all with that little smirk I'd seen too many times. My wife and her family just watched as the cops cuffed me and read me my rights. It hit me like a punch in the gut. This wasn't a mistake. This was a setup. The 3 people I'd trusted most had just orchestrated my destruction. Sitting in that holding cell, staring at 4 concrete walls, I realized I was the fall guy, the outsider, the sucker they needed to take the heat for Bianca's mess. I was supposed to confess, take the blame, make their lives easier. They came to see me in jail, my wife, my mother-in-law, not to help, not to apologize. They brought me a fresh shirt and deodorant and told me, "Just take the blame. It'll be easier for everyone." I couldn't believe it. These women, who I'd loved and supported, who I thought were my family, were now asking me to destroy my own life to protect theirs. But here's the thing. They weren't as smart as they thought. Turns out last year after my dog Brick had surgery, I installed a little nanny cam in the bedroom, just to keep an eye on him while I was at work. Motion activated, recorded everything. My lawyer, Laurel, asked if anyone could get the footage. I called my neighbor, Eli, gave him the instructions, and hoped for a miracle. He got the camera. He saved my dog from the shelter. And the footage? It showed everything. Bianca, gloves on, walking into my room, planting the drugs right in my dresser, exactly where the cops would find them. The whole thing, on camera, when my lawyer showed the prosecutor, and my wife, her mother, and Bianca. What was on that footage? You could have heard a pin drop. Callie went pale. Darlene couldn't even speak. And Bianca? She broke down. Confessed. To everything. Suddenly, the story changed. I walked out a free man, and the people who tried to destroy me, they got exactly what they deserved.